Phase 5 has finished with Thunderbolts, so let's rank all 5 phases in the MCU. So for this ranking, I'll be ranking each one based on quality of the phase and based on connectivity. So like, does it connect at the end of it all to make the phase seem like it was actually worth something? And of course, quality, good content. With that, let's begin. Now the thing with Phase 5 is that it has some of the worst content we have gotten in the MCU and some of the best content we have gotten in the MCU. But if we were to judge the whole phase as a whole, it's pretty weak. We had a total of 16 projects, and 6 of those projects were bad. But granted, the other parts of the projects I love. But the bad projects really bring it down, and even if we look at connectivity of it all, we have Thunderbolts, which every character in Thunderbolts, Phase 5 did not set up at all. That's all Phase 4. If Thunderbolts was in Phase 4, different story. But since it's part of Phase 5, and none of Phase 5 really connected to Thunderbolts, everything in Phase 5 feels all over the place. We have Kang, which eventually is now leading nowhere. We have a bunch of multiverse stories, we have a bunch of street level stories, we have Agatha and Echo, which are just there, especially Echo, which they have no idea what to do with that character anymore. Phase 5 just feels all over the place, and they don't really have any connective tissue in between them all. But when there is a good project, it's some of the better films in the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thunderbolts. These are some great films, and even if we look at the shows, I love Agatha all along. I love X-Men 97, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Loki Season 2. All these projects are great, but what makes a phase a fave is the connected tissue and the quality of it. And this phase was kind of all over the place and didn't really deliver that. Next for me is Phase 2. Now, connectivity-wise, this phase does great at that. We get Age of Ultron, which follows up Avengers and sets everything up before Civil War, so we know what these heroes are more like together. Quality-wise, I'm not a fan of Iron Man 3. I'm not a fan of Thor: The Dark World. Ant-Man for me is just fine, enjoyable fun. Those don't really stand out, but then we also get Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, which Guardians of the Galaxy is the top 5 MCU film. Winter Soldier is top 10 MCU film. So we get some of the best content of the MCU, but we also get some of the weakest points in the MCU as well. We do have that connective tissue, and it's not over the place like Phase 5, but I just feel like it's about 50-50 on your content. Age of Ultron to me, I like it. It could be a lot better though. Especially since all the other Avengers movies I love. So Age of Ultron just always felt like that outsider compared to every other Avengers movie. And Phase 2, I don't know, it just never really resonated with me. It just felt like the phase that was just there, which was necessary for some of these characters and continuing on their character arcs, but didn't really necessarily add anything else. Next for me is Phase 4. Now, a lot of the projects in Phase 4 I like. Not love, it's a lot of 4 out of 5 films and shows, but the majority of Phase 4 for me are that. A lot of the content in Phase 4 people don't like. I found myself enjoying a lot of the movies and shows that they were making. Now, not all of them. There are a few shows I do not like, but a majority of them I do like. She-Hulk, I do like. Eternals, I like the majority of Phase 4's content. They're all about in that 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 range. But that connectivity is not really there. We needed a Avengers movie to end off this phase. Like I said, Thunderbolts would have been a perfect fit. Thunderbolts should have ended off this phase, connecting all these things together. Well, not all of these things together, but you at least connected some characters together to at least make a team-up movie at the end of Phase 4. And if you've seen Thunderbolts, there's stuff that happens in that movie that works better at the end of Phase 4. Especially since the characters in that movie are now fresh on your mind. But there was no connectivity by the end of this phase. But it was all set up. It was basically Phase 1 with more content and without the Avengers movie in there. Because Phase 4 was very much the setup phase. We're introducing new heroes, new things. If only Phase 5 really continued that on, and if so much content wasn't in here, it could have been better. But I am one of those people that does like Phase 4. It's just now that the state we're in now with Phase 5, Phase 4 doesn't really seem like it went anywhere. But for looking at the phase alone, I am a fan of Phase 4. Next for me is Phase 1. This is the very start to the MCU. We introduced Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America. Then we connect it all with an Avengers movie. Exactly what the MCU is. Quality-wise, Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, love those 3 movies. But we also get the Incredible Hulk, which on a good day I do like, but most of the time I think it's fine. Iron Man 2, same situation, and Thor, also the same situation. But I still like those 3 movies. I still enjoy those 3 movies. And Phase 1 just kind of set up the MCU, showing us what we're in for, showing, hey, we know how to introduce a hero that nobody knows about and make you love them. And then have an Avengers movie connecting all their storylines together, seeing their dynamics play off of each other, and have you fall in love with these characters so you continue to do more stuff down the line. That's what I liked about Phase 1. It wasn't trying to do anything grand in scale, not too much content, and the majority of it is good. So Phase 1 was very much the start. And that's what you can appreciate it for. But easily at the top for me is Phase 3. Connectivity-wise, do I have to explain? We get the end of the Infinity Saga. We also have Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, finishing off all these character stories, while Civil War is breaking them apart, so when you actually do get to Infinity War, they're apart, but they need to learn how to work together again. And the Russo brothers just knew how to make an Avengers movie. That's why Doomsday and Secret Wars, I'm very excited for. Especially since that Thunderbolts marked something that I'm excited to see what it builds off of. But Phase 3 was very much the era of the MCU that everyone was around. Everyone was excited for Infinity War because every single project in Phase 3 is good. Now, I do have a hot take, which I will talk about in my MCU ranking later. That's only like 1 project. Maybe 2 I don't like. But everything else in Phase 3 was the most connected. Far From Home feels out of place. It should have been in Phase 4. But it's the most connective. This is the one where almost every single project was good. And then when you get to the actual high moments of it all, they were the high moments and had a really satisfying ending by the end of it. Which is why Phase 3 is the best phase in the MCU. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, maybe these ones on the side of the MCU too. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.